Ready in 5, 4, 3, 2.
Yeah. Hey, yeah. Where my mom's at? Where my mom's wearing thongs, hitting bongs at? Raising kids, cleaning shits, need a long nap. Where my mom's at?
Where My Mom's At podcast with Christina P.
I'm ready, Jean. Discover the new Michelin CrossClimate 2 tires designed to keep families safer for longer than leading competitors. The Michelin CrossClimate 2 tires provide up to 1 year of additional tread life compared to 4 leading competitive tires. Discover more at MichelinMan.com. You guys asked for it by popular demand. I have her back here. She's going to give us some knowledge, some real life wisdom. Please welcome Mrs. Drew Pinsky.
Thank you for having
Susan
me back.
This is the queen. 2 to 4 times a week. The Beach Queen. No, not that's your title. But I'm so happy.
I was wondering if I had a name, and now I'm very happy to know that I do.
You're the Beach Queen. I'm so happy you're back.
What does Drew call you now? It's some kind of a I don't know. It's like a Russian person.
Oh yeah, Ceausescu. I've decided to become a dictator. I'm going to take over the world.
And I'm a beach queen.
But you came in here, you and Drew were having a marital tiff, and I don't want to get into the details because that's between you and him. But I thought it was so interesting because last week I had on a gay dad, and he was like, we do everything 50-50, and it's great. And I was like, wow, is that true?
That would be heaven for you.
Right, because the truth is when you're with a straight cisgendered bro, a dude, it just doesn't go like that. There's it's just a different dynamic.
No, it is different, and women do all the lifting, heavy lifting.
I think so.
With
Here, put the
kids.
mic closer to your face. With kids, and I don't know. I mean, how do you guys fight? What's your fighting style?
We don't fight that much.
Oh, that's good.
I mean, seriously, we don't. But I think everybody is in this double quarantine right now, which is basically stuck inside because it's so smoky outside, and thank
hell.
God for air conditioning. I
my
don't know
God.
what we would do in California,
but doesn't that just
but
blow the smoke in?
We're just stuck in our homes, and we can't, your eyes itch, you feel bad, and we're inside, and we're trying to wait for everything to sort of lift, and it's really getting on everybody's nerves.
I think so too.
Even ours.
I think so. So you guys aren't big fighters, and I think it's because you're lovers primarily. Because let me tell you, in a straight relationship, I found that now a lot of women have been writing in, and they took cues from you, Miss Susan Pinsky.
Okay.
And the beaches have increased. And a lot of women have been writing in saying
they feel better about themselves.
But that the men are happier.
Yes.
And you really started, I would say, a movement, a sexual revolution.
Oh,
here.
I'm so happy to hear that. He actually asked for one right before I came over.
He did. He asked
said-
for you right as you were coming out, as you were going to leave.
Don't you want to say that you did it before you left? And I said, no, I don't want to mess this up.
No.
I just did my makeup.
Yeah, duh.
I
But
mean,
don't you love that?
I did think about it for a second.
Oh my God, you're a real trooper.
I know. But
You're
I really
such a
worked
trooper.
hard because, pulling
Well, you
myself out of bed and putting on
It's-
hair and makeup was a lot of work.
It's always a lot. But that's the true saint that you are, is that you would even consider giving him a beach.
I
in
knew it
full
would make
makeup.
him feel better and he'd be less of a dick today, but I didn't do it. I'll probably do it
and
later.
that's why you got into a tiff, because see, that's it. And I
hasn't
I
had
tried
it lately.
I tried getting into this
Has
with
he
the gay
seemed
guy.
a little off lately?
I don't know. I haven't seen him in a couple weeks. I was trying to get into this with the gay guy. I was like, now, how do you manipulate your spouse? And by that I mean, how do you regulate them? Because as a wife, when you're with a straight guy, you give them a bead, you throw them a bone,
Right.
and you've got 72 hours before the poison filler goes back in their body, and they get cranky, and they start fighting with you and shit.
Yeah.
So really, it's like
It's
easiest
actually
way.
been a few days, so I think that's part of the problem.
That's all the problem.
Well, only because I was mad at him for
You were-
something, and
and then you
I don't think I
withheld the
should talk
beach.
about. But
No,
I
don't
think
give specifics.
Just because we work closely together now, and we work a lot together, and it's just But I'm blaming it on. I'm not blaming it on him. I'm blaming it on the experience of what we're all going through in this quarantine.
Yes, and everyone's reacting differently.
And I haven't been depressed the whole time. Like all of a sudden I was just like, meow.
It hit you. It finally hit
Yeah.
you. Yeah, I think so. I think I went through anxiety. I'm going to do shit. I'm going to go. And then I hit the wall, depression, anger, back, and then I'm back again. So welcome to depression. How is it?
Yeah, I haven't had it in a long time since my kids were little.
Yeah.
You know, and
yeah, that's a reason to be depressed.
I haven't really, I mean, but I also, I don't know, I'm starting to feel like I'm a little too old for being cooped up all the time. I want to go out and live my life.
You want to have fun.
Yeah.
You guys are finally at an age where the kids are grown. I want to go travel, have fun weekends out. I can't wait.
I want the weekends.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, some stuff came up and we couldn't go. And I was like, what we're doing what? Like, who's coming over with the cameras? Like,
and you felt like
thanks for letting me know.
And you're upset with him. Now, how can Drew?
We still have to work that out. We're still working out the details.
You'll work it out. So now to get Drew to comply and to make him happy, you give him a beach. What can Drew do for you? And for the men listening, what can a man do to manipulate his wife into doing things and to feeling better and being less of a bitch, basically, you know, being more amicable?
I don't know. I mean, he was asking me what he could do for me to make me feel better, and I told him I have no idea.
Well, let's think about it right now, right here. You and me.
Okay.
What do you value? Is it? I'd make Tom pay me.
I want to go away for a few days without anybody.
Ooh, I like that.
That's my thing.
That's huge.
I mean, that's part of the whole reason why we've always had a good relationship is because he worked a lot, and I had the freedom to go do what I had to do.
Okay.
And it's like I don't have to be like out, you know, partying or doing anything. I just want to like go to my apartment in New York and be by myself for 3 days.
Oh, but you don't want him to come with you. You're saying he gives you permission to go away?
Yes.
Well, Drew, give her permission. Let her get out of here.
I mean, because he can't. He has to work all the time. He has all these things all set up and I can't do it.
Okay.
And I said, well, I think maybe I'll just go. And then I feel bad.
Yeah, oh, wait, like, but he is letting you go, but you feel guilty.
But then he knows he's not going to get a BJ, so then he's bummed.
Yeah.
So it doesn't really work.
It doesn't really work.
I hear you, Nadav.
Let's talk about now.
It's a little stressful at the Pinsky house.
It's a little, you know, I think everybody's.
But I will go home tonight and try to make it up for to him. You know, because just I feel like I could probably help him feel better.
Well, that's the thing that is the immense power of the wife, is that you have the power to actually really placate the beast and take care of them sexually. You can take care of their food needs.
Yes.
We have so much control over their states.
Yes. Well, yeah. And if we're happy and not causing chaos, like if anything, everything's just even and it's not bothering them, then they're happy. Yeah. I don't like feeling like that. I don't like feeling like I'm causing something. You know,
right,
that's not my style.
Yeah, same.
I get a little hot and bothered, but I think right now, like all our roles, we're so tightly entwined right now.
Well, it's tough when a couple works together and you're married and you have kids. So Tom and I do all three.
Oh,
and by some miracle, we're still together and we're still happy.
So what is it? What do you think is your secret? Like,
I'll tell you what, real talk, sex, like you guys. I think because you were courageous enough to verbalize that, like, hey, we fuck, and that's really important.
Yeah.
And Drew has said it on Dr. Drew After Dark so many times, like, the woman is kind of like when a man marries a woman, he's saying, I'm entrusting you with my sexuality for the rest of our lives.
Yes.
It's a huge responsibility.
And I still like it. I mean, I still enjoy it.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, you have to. Otherwise, it's going to be tricky to be married to someone you don't like it with.
Yeah.
But I think effing is huge. I think communication is big. And also not communicating. I think it's what you don't say.
Exactly. Keep it to yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just shut up. You don't have to say everything to
I
each
get
other.
it. Yeah. No. Yeah. Right. Sometimes, less history, more mystery.
Right. I think so. Like,
And then if they piss you off, just okay, I'll get through this.
Well, I think they're just
Nagging is really like not a good thing.
There's things that you know about them. You just know where it's going. And you know if you start this argument where it's going to go because you've been in there for 40 years and fuck it.
But my problem is when he keeps bringing it up.
Oh, he revisits
and I don't want to
the
talk
drama.
about it anymore.
Can you tell
just
him?
like, oh God, here we go.
Can you tell him like I don't want to have this?
I do, but he doesn't.
He won't let you.
He get it. Yeah, we got. I said, right after today, we're just gonna let it go.
Yeah,
and just put it behind us.
And he doesn't let it happen. Is Drew
he
more?
Does.
Is he the emotional one in the relationship? Is he more emotional than you?
No.
No.
But it's just that I think right now that we're, like I said, it's just an unusual time.
It is.
Like, our men like to work. They like to do what they normally do. They like to go, if we do go to New York, he wants to go on TV. He wants to, do his regular routine, and everything's shut down. It's just really different where we're all trapped in our little virtual universe here, Yeah. Fortunately, we have this.
Yeah.
Your mom,
Dr.
Drew After Dark, brilliant.
Well,
and
thank you.
It keeps
Thank
him
you.
so.
Your mom's house.
You
Where
can
my
have
mom's
him.
At.
You can have him. No, and at least you guys can. He gets to come here and he gets to be with another adult, and he gets to be. I'm with the dog, and it's all day long. And I think that like me coming here today, I thought would lift my spirits too.
Oh, wonderful. Well,
Yeah.
I certainly hope we can.
I mean, I like to. I don't particularly love doing interviews. I love them with you because you're really funny and you're super smart. And
thank you. I'm trying.
And I have some new fans, and I really appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Well, let me tell you, Susan, if you want me to make your day, I think you look amazing. I think your breasts are fantastic. I can't even. She comes in here without a bra. You're not even wearing a bra. Is that right?
No.
I mean, I just eyeballed that shit. And I have to tell you, if I came in without a bra, it would not look that good.
Oh, thank you.
It would not look that good.
I can't really wear a bra with this. It'll look weird.
I mean, you look fantastic.
Well, I appreciate that, Christina.
Yeah, and
because
you're
I'm
a nice
old
lady.
lady.
You're not an old lady. But let's see. I wanted you back because I want the wisdom. You've been together 40 years? How long?
Well, we have been together for 36 years, but we married 29.
Okay. Let's go through it step by step.
Oh God. This is a long history. This is like 40 years.
Oh, I know, but I
started thinking to myself like, shit, I got to look at all this stuff.
Well, give me the tips of like how to keep it happy and how to keep things fresh, just marriage. But you guys you weren't together for a long time before you had kids.
7 years.
7 years. You were. So.
And we had kind of we had a good relationship. It was long distance. So we didn't spend a lot of time together because he was working so much. And then when halfway through our relationship, it's like 3 years in, oops, I'm losing one of these. I don't need both of them anyways. He broke up with me because I kind of gave him an ultimatum. And then when he was gone,
ultimatum for marriage.
Yeah.
It's so funny. Just a sidebar here. My wonderful, beautiful friend, Ali Wong. I don't know if you watched, was it her first special? Yes. I love Ali. She has this bit about how women actually push the marriage thing. She goes, what happens is a woman nags a man, you nag him to propose to you, and then he proposes to you, and then you to your friends you go, oh my God, he proposed! Can you believe it? And that is the truth. I mean, I don't know. I'm sure in some cases it is very spontaneous.
Well, that happened later, but
the truth is, women kind of have to nudge and
yeah. Well,
push.
He left for 9 months, and he dated a bunch of random chicks, some Playboy models. And
he did.
Yeah, I know. I heard later from
hoes.
people who these bitches. Yeah, and he was like hanging around with stars because he was getting like more notoriety on Loveline.
He was on K-Rock.
It was during the whole what do they call it? Not the Rat Pack, but the Brat Pack. Oh. He was hanging out with those guys and kind of dumped his chick and hung out, and then he became the chief resident, and he bought a Jaguar and a big screen TV. Oh yeah.
Can't even. My mind is blown, bro. Because let me tell you, like, to me, Drew is like
so
this
weird. I came back and
I love it. This paternal, like, he's so together, and he's such a sweet paternal figure. Like, I don't
a green
see
Jaguar.
A green one.
I know.
An XJ.
Yeah, one of those big ones.
XJS.
Yeah, but that was in the
Big
80s,
fan.
so they were
Big ones.
they
I
were-
love Jags.
And so when we got back together, it was just by fluke somehow.
By fluke.
I pined for him. I pined away. I
Aw.
waited for him. When he came back, I was dating somebody else, and he was a complete compulsive liar. So I just dumped his ass, and then and I told him, I said, listen, if the ex-boyfriend comes back, you're out of here.
Wow, you said that to the dude?
Yeah, I was like, I love this guy. He broke my heart. So anyways, we ended up getting back together by surprise. I had no idea it was coming. And he drove up in his Jaguar. And I was like, nice wheels, man. Like, what you been
He's
doing?
like,
You
what's
been
up, K-Rock money?
Making some, no, he was, no, he became the chief. I don't know how.
He's
how
like,
the
what's
money,
up,
there
resident
wasn't a lot of it.
chief
but-
money?
Yeah. I
I don't know what real people do in the world for
But
money.
I didn't have a lot of, he only made like $50 a week at Loveline. But then I went to his house, and he had like this small bedroom that was probably about maybe 30 by 30 with this huge big screen TV, like
Nice.
in the box one.
Nice. I
It,
know
like-
you're talking about back in the 80s where you pulled out the thing and it was like 3 different colored bulbs, right?
No, it
Red,
just
yellow,
was
and
a huge box. Like it was so big it filled half the room. And then he had this little like futon couch on the side or
Hilarious.
whatever. And I walked in and I was like, what the fuck happened here? Like,
But isn't that
what
such
is
like
this?
straight guy thing? I think Tom's first apartment was like all TV
Yes.
and then a mattress on the floor.
He had a living room too, but the TV was in the spare bedroom. It was the funniest thing I ever saw. So I thought, wow, he's been just, living the life here, without
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
And then, we ended up, moving in together, I think like a year later. I was, I had sort of changed my whole life. I went back to college and he kind of liked that. And, he missed me, but it was just weird. It wasn't a perfect relationship. And it was very difficult for me to get past the other women. It was
I would be upset too.
super hard. And then I went to therapy and dealt with it. And, how I had a rough relationship with a previous boyfriend too. It was sort of a battered woman situation. So I was kind of really low when I met Drew. And he was amazing. I mean, he came out of nowhere. So it just was hard to get through that. And I had to suffer through it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yes, sometimes you do have to lose a relationship and then go through it, but it's wonderful that you guys came together and you were able to grow together.
Yeah, it was a lot of work. And I think that our relationship is stronger because I didn't say everything I thought or felt.
Yeah.
Like you said.
Yeah. Maybe that's just crazy.
Well, maybe
women
that
like
other
us.
chick who's, when I found the condom on the floor in the other room when we got back together, who was that? I never said what was on my mind. I was just
Yeah.
like, ooh.
Yeah.
that's
But you guys
the-
were young. I mean, how old was he at that time?
he was, let's see.
You're like 42?
He was 26.
Yeah.
27.
You're still like,
I know. We were 27.
Babies.
And then we got engaged when we were 30. And then we got married when we were 31.
nice.
But it wasn't, it's fine for me that he worked as much as he did because I like my space and we had a long distance relationship. So we weren't with each other every night. I like to spread out on the bed by myself. I like
Yes.
to have that. And when he did Loveline 5 nights a week, I'd have the evenings, when the kids went to bed,
That was
whatever,
nice, yeah.
once I could get them to bed. But
I
it
know.
was, it was just kind of weird. Like now we're just like on each other.
So that's a different dynamic. So what you're saying, it sounds like, is that your marriage kind of worked on both your abilities to have separate lives and identities outside
Yes.
of each other. I think that's a huge thing for Tom and I as well. Like we're
When
good
he
together.
travels.
Yeah, and it's like I had a boyfriend in college whose parents, the wife was a flight attendant. His mother was a flight attendant. And so she said like, well, yeah, I'm only here, 3 days a week. It's like having a new relationship every week. And Tom and I for a long time had that similar dynamic.
Yeah.
But I think just being able to be alone
Yeah.
and not like I always
It's not abnormal to think that, oh, gee, I want to be alone for a couple days.
it's fine.
Yeah,
it's
it
good
feels
for
really
you.
good.
But although now that I'm a mom and I'm so used to having my kids around, like they went for a walk last weekend for about 2 hours and I was alone in the house and I did not know what to do with myself for the first time. And
When you have kids, it's different. Like,
Yeah.
he would be home every night, but when your kids fly away. It's like a little me time alone.
I have Michelin tires on my car. I have for years. Why? Because what other brand is there? I mean, who do you trust? They've been around forever, and they're good. They're reliable. And safe driving isn't limited to new tires. Your family should feel safe behind the wheel, driving on tires with 35,000 miles of wear, just as they do on new tires. Discover the new Michelin CrossClimate 2 tires, designed to keep families safer for longer than leading competitors. The Michelin CrossClimate 2 tires break up to 56 feet shorter than leading competitors on wet roads and 16 feet shorter on dry roads, even when worn, which is great for upcoming fall and winter seasons. It's time to look into the Michelin CrossClimate 2. These tires provide up to 1 year of additional tread life compared to 4 leading competitive tires. And when you buy them now, you can enjoy a warranty that gives you 60,000 miles of peace of mind. New Michelin CrossClimate 2 tires. Buy them now, thank them later. Discover more at MichelinMan.com. Oh, I love HelloFresh. HelloFresh saves you time and money, and it's delicious, and it's easy, and it's something to do with the kiddos, with your family. I love it because you get a box delivered right to your front door, and you can enjoy cooking and get dinner on the table in about 30 minutes or even less. You can save 40% by using HelloFresh versus shopping at your local grocery store, and it's more convenient too. I love the variety. I mean, I don't know how to cook many things, but I do love the variety of HelloFresh. I had some wonderful chicken fajitas. The recipes are so easy to follow, and they have sustainable food too. HelloFresh delivers pre-portioned ingredients, so you're not overbuying, which is a burden on the planet and your wallet. It's flexible. You can change delivery schedules, and it's definitely worth trying. So go to HelloFresh.com/80WMMA and use code 80WMMA to get a total of $80 off your first month, including free shipping on your first box. Additional restrictions apply. Please visit HelloFresh.com for more details. Go to HelloFresh.com/80WMMA. What is that like when they leave and when they're, I don't even want to think about it.
I don't know.
18
Well,
and-
when they used to leave for college, I didn't get sad until Jordan left, because he was the last one to go back to school, because Amherst would close in January because it was so cold, and and as he got off the plane, I could tell he didn't want to leave, and it would make me tear up, but it's so nice to know they're in a safe place and they're learning, and I have the freedom to do whatever I want for 4 years. And and I would go travel and visit them. Drew wasn't always with me. I mean, I got to travel, and it's, that was a really fun part of my life. I was 50. I was like, my kids were all over the country. I was flying around. I was having fun. And, Drew was working full time. He had like 3 TV shows and blah, blah, blah. And he was like super busy and super focused. So he wasn't worried about me, and I'm just very independent.
That's really nice.
Yeah. Now we're like all closed up in the same house, all 4 of us. My daughter's in New York. So, and I want them to be happy and safe and feel good.
Yeah.
Of course. And I don't have a problem with that, but it's just a different feeling.
I bet. Well,
So like when I go to Laguna and I'm away from that, or New York, I get to just sort of
you get to be
just hang out. I do the same thing I do at home. I work, or I go to dinner, or I,
you work out,
brush my teeth.
you work out
A little bit.
your exercise. What's your exercise routine like?
Well,
Very fit.
lately it's been shitty, but
You do
I mean, I
weights? What
worked
do you
out
do?
my whole life, like a lot, but especially when the kids were little and stuff, I'd drop them off at school and I'd go to the gym. But it was
That's really good.
I know, it's such a beautiful thing.
Oh, it's so cool.
When they're like, "Oh, 3 of them, get rid of them."
Yeah,
I'm gonna go.
go
It's
to
9 o'clock.
school.
Let's go to the, the workout. And it's really sad because the gym that I went to all those years just closed.
Oh.
Their rent was like $65,000 a month.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and it was a big
That's
gym. It was like
crazy.
an Equinox-sized gym, but they built it over the years, and I was friends with my trainers, and they built this big business, and they had to close because of COVID.
It's so sad how things are going to shake out. Like
All
with
those
the
moms I
economy.
feel sorry for, but they can't drop their kids off at school yet anyways, so.
I know.
But
Well, that's
it's such a
true.
weird thing. It's like your routine is set, and like now, like I have a Peloton and a Pilates machine, and I try to
And
do
you
that.
have a reformer at home.
Yeah, I bought it
Wow.
years ago.
Wow.
when
That is
Paulina
really
was
good.
doing ice skating.
And you use it. You do it.
I did when thing
That
first
is
hit. My
amazing.
Pilates guy would do it via video, and I didn't stick with it because I was giving him $60 every time, and I didn't know if we'd have any money.
Yeah, well, I don't think
this was before the PPPs came through, but I was
What's
like
the PPPs.
the business loans from the state from the government.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Yeah, it's kept me alive. It's been really great. But I got a Peloton. I ordered a Peloton right before the COVID hit, so it showed up. So I've done that like 6 times.
Oh, so you're not working out.
I'm trying.
Yeah,
I'm trying.
It's tough.
I was going to work out the other day, and I got a phone call from my renter in New York, and the air conditioning was out, so I was on the phone for like an hour, and I was like, well, there went my workout. Like, okay. But I do like to work out. I like to stay in shape.
But that sounds like another hot tip is trying to stay in shape. I mean, you've always been slender. Those pictures that you brought in last time, like you look amazing.
I was in better shape then.
Well, fuck you now when you're 20. Yeah,
well, listen, I lost 10 pounds last year, right before December, because it was my 60th. I wanted to look great. I got in shape. And, I put back some of the weight. I'm kind of like giving up at this point, but I do try to jump on the Peloton and just do it. The Pilates machine is in a room that's not air conditioned. So
forget it. You got to put that thing in an air
conditioner. But Drew works out in the gym every day.
And it's
5
not
days
air
a week.
conditioned in there?
No, but he goes out and lifts weight. And I could do that too, but I don't know. It's kind of his
You're
little
not into
space.
it. No.
Yeah, I've worked out in there too.
And here's another thing too, I think wives can benefit from hearing is like, Tom, I didn't realize this until this year when we moved into this new house. He's very territorial, meaning like he needs his own bare space. I didn't really realize the importance of a man's area. Like you said, like you're like, that's his thing. Like I hated that whole man cave era. I remember man cave.
Right.
Shut the fuck up. Well,
Drew's gym is sort of that.
Right.
If you want to know where he is, that's where he is.
Yeah, and I understand it too. I mean, I have an office in our house too.
But that's why we built it, because he was leaving to go running or go.
Yeah, it's silly
when the kids were little, and I was like, dude, you can't just take off for an hour and go running.
I know, they don't
and
know
leave
that.
me with the kids. Yeah. Forget that.
Isn't that hilarious, by the way, that you have to explain that to your husband?
So we bought equipment from the people that had the gym, and when their gym closed, he's like, ooh, I wonder if they have any gym equipment we could get. I was like,
Smart.
I'm not going to ask him that. Like,
I know, you're closing. Your business is in shambles. Can I have your equipment at a discounted rate?
I mean, I didn't ask. I just told him, they said that they were doing virtual training, and I said, thank you. I'll give you a call if I'm interested.
That's
but
sweet.
it's like his little world is in there now, and I don't like working out with him. But it's also
let
kind
him
of
have the space.
dusty and dirty.
It
and
is. It's a
old.
boy thing. But don't you love, it's interesting how, so the gay dad I had on last week was talking about women not communicating like quickly enough and efficiently enough their needs, and then you let it, he produces a lot of reality shows, I should say. So he's actually really familiar with this.
Oh yeah.
And like, this example you said, I think Tom and I have had the exact argument when, like Tom, when we first had our, like Ellis, our first baby, he would just live life normally. Like, all right, I'm going to go run, and then I'm going to go to the thing. And I was like, well, hello. Like,
I know.
You can't, fucker. Like,
I wish I could go running right now.
Yeah.
Like shit.
They don't even think that their life is changed.
Well, in New York, we have a gym on the top floor.
Yeah.
Or the 50th floor or whatever. It overlooks, the Freedom Tower, and I get out there.
That's nice.
That's why I got the Peloton, because I like doing it there, and it's such a great gym, and it's like easy access to get up there, and that's like something that when he's there, he looks forward to, but I am also looking forward to that.
Getting away from him.
But when he's home, it's like I'm, putting shows together, and he's on his, he's in the gym. Straight
guys are the worst, aren't they?
But I don't have little kids anymore, and I can't.
You can't use
But
that
I
as an
built it so he'd
excuse.
stay at the house.
Right.
So that he wouldn't, just disappear if I needed him. Because if I needed him, I wanted to be able to
just disappear.
You can't get him back if they're on their Arroyo.
No.
And that scares me too when he goes out there,
When he's jogging in the streets.
Yeah.
It's dangerous. Yeah, I know. I don't like that either. I'm the opposite of you. Like, I think I used to be more of like, I need to be alone. I don't mind going on the road for days. And now I'm like a Brussels Griffon, where I'm always in Tom's lap. I'm demanding pets. I'm demanding love. I'm like, love me, hug me. I need snuggle. Yeah, I'm very needy. I think I'm emotionally. I'm opening up a little more.
That's good.
Where I need
Is he
other
willing
people.
to give it?
Not the cuddles. Now let's talk about that, because maybe you can help me get the cuddles.
Okay.
Because
You know that I get a foot rub every night.
what the fuck? What? What, Tom? Did you say it again?
I get a foot rub every night.
For free? Do you have to?
and
What do you have to
and
give?
when
For,
I was mad at him last night and I wasn't giving my feet, he goes, "Give me your feet." And he grabbed them and he started rubbing them. Okay.
now, you don't have to bribe him to get that. You don't have to.
No, it's just when we're watching 90 Day Fiancé.
Yeah, good show.
God.
And hold on.
He actually looks forward to that because
Well,
then he can.
I'm calling my husband right now. Every night, you say.
Yeah, while we're watching TV.
And when did this start?
About 30 years ago, I guess.
Oh my God. So I have to train him earlier, is what you're saying. Oh, Tom's alone with our 2 kids. He probably can't answer right now. Fuck, bitch. I'm so mad. He's going to hear about this.
I got a phone call from you guys when Josh was here, I guess, the other day, and I was in a bad mood. I was like, what?
Yeah.
Did I sound mad?
Hold on, here he is.
What's going on?
Well, I'm here with Susan Pinsky, and I just wanted to run something by you. I brought up our cuddling issue, our cuddling deficit, rather, and she casually mentions that Drew gives her a foot rub every night, unprompted. Is that something I could negotiate with you?
Having trouble hearing you right now.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe if that foot rub leads to dick touches,
See?
it'd be a little deal.
But that's what I'm saying, is that she doesn't even put out, and Drew willingly does
Oh,
that.
she puts out. That's already out there.
We've learned that, yes. She does put out. But I put out too. And by the way, since Susan's last appearance, I've been putting out more regularly.
How's that going, Tom?
See?
Yeah, I know. You need to start spending more time with Susan.
But I put out very frequently, and anyway, I'm just throwing it out there.
I'm so glad.
Yeah.
I'm so glad.
All
I didn't
right.
want to ask you how
Jesus.
that was going.
No, it's going great. All right, I love you, Tom. Good luck.
Love you too.
Bye. Now, he just had his vasectomy, which was really huge.
Oh.
Yeah, I know.
I heard that's hard.
It is. But I have to
That's a
milk
lot of-
him.
That's a lot of frozen peas.
It's a lot of frozen peas, and he has to get to 20 loads before we can really start to party.
Right.
And I think I had something about.
But do you have to help him?
Well, I have been helping. That's
Oh,
my
good.
duty. That's what
You're-
I'm saying. I'm owed a foot rub.
Yes. No, that's awesome. And then
How can I get him to cuddle? Because he claims he's too hot, and he really empirically is hotter than most humans. But I need the cuddles, Susan. Who
take
am I?
his clothes off?
That's what I fucking did. He was naked, and I'm not naked, but he had like his boxers on. Okay.
I don't know. Does he like foot rubs?
Tommy? What do you mean? I have to give him one to get one? Is that
Yeah,
what you're
I don't
saying?
give Drew. Drew doesn't like them. I'm really lucky. I'm really
Yeah.
lucky that way.
Well,
I'm like, let
men's
me. Do
feet
you
are
want me to rub? He's
disgusting.
like, nah, I don't like it. I don't think I do a good job, but he does a really good job.
Well, men's feet are crusty and crumbly and
Yeah, I know.
nasty.
I feel like I should reciprocate. He's like, no, you can do other stuff
do
later.
other- They want you to massage other parts.
I know.
The
I know.
lingam.
But
Okay.
I don't. But there's no. I don't have to pay him back every night.
No. It's not every night.
But I do appreciate it, and I think that he will very. It was a really good thing in our marriage. It's
Rub. Rain
yeah,
or
because
shine?
it does something to me. I said when the kids were little,
Yeah.
and he'd do his thing, and then he'd go, "Do you want anything?" I'd go, "You know what? I'd rather have a foot rub." Yeah. Because I really probably can't do it right now because there's kids banging on the door.
Oh yeah, that's.
And
the
you can rub
worst.
my feet, and nobody will know.
So that's how you set up the foot rubs. So
Maybe,
that's
and
interesting.
I just didn't feel like I could. I just didn't want to wait around to.
This isn't really. So what you're saying is, when your children were little, you would give him a beach, and then he would say, "Is there anything I can do for you?" And you're like, honestly, like when I hear my
I don't
kids,
think I gave him a beach then, but I probably gave him sex.
some sex, yeah. And then he's like, oh, you don't seem satisfied. Is there anything I can do for you?
Yeah.
And then you were like, I don't feel sexual because I don't. When I hear my children screaming outside the door,
Yes.
it is like it's
hard.
it's like negative
Douglas
sexual
had this thing.
vibes.
He knew exactly when we were having sex. He'd come to the door.
Of course. Like your
amazing.
children know when you don't want them around.
You don't want them to hear you.
Yeah, it's
or
so
accidentally
disgusting.
walk in.
Oh, I'd throw up. So what you're saying is you could barter that. Okay.
Well, when he gave
Interesting.
me the foot rub, I say, sometimes I'd rather have this than an orgasm
course.
when the kids are banging on the door.
I like
Because
this
it feels
tactic.
so good. It's just like an orgasm.
I would
for
say,
me.
yeah, it's really relaxing.
It is. He's good at it. Now I think he's just so used to doing it. He has to have something to do.
I like this. It's training. So
Yes.
you initiate it early on
Yes.
as a reward, and then you positive reinforce
You should let
it.
him give you a foot rub.
And then when you're watching your TV shows, because usually Tom chews
You'll
on
be
his
like,
fingers.
oh my God.
Yeah, he's like gnawing. Now, and instead of that, I'll be like, why don't you rub my feet instead of gnawing on your hands?
And then the thing about
Oh, I like that.
Drew is he's a biologist, so he knows like all the little
The
muscles
reflexology
and
and stuff.
Yeah, he can get right in there.
Smart. I like that.
He
This
saved my feet. I probably would have had arthritis at this
Oh
point.
wow!
Yeah.
So this question, Drew wanted me to save for you. It's even asterisk down here. Save for Susan.
Okay. I'm
Dr.
afraid.
Drew recently found your podcast, and I'm enjoying their content very much. In one, you mentioned having a radical prostatectomy, and I was wondering what your estimate for recovery to full function is / was. Also, what you did / recommend to assist in your recovery. Thank you for any insight you can
Didn't I
give.
talk about this on the last show?
Let's talk about it some more. Not enough.
Well, it was really weird because the first doctor we went to was not very good apparently, and I don't want to mention who it is, but Drew was really comfortable. But I went into his office and he gave me this book that said you're literally going to have to start working on it after the day after surgery or the day of surgery or something like that in the book, right?
Working on it.
So I went to
Wait, what does that mean?
start
Bagox.
getting the blood flow
Right.
back in there, right?
Gotcha,
and
bro.
as a wife, you should support your man and help him, blah blah blah,
get the
right?
Bagox.
So this was in this book, right? And then my daughter had a nutritionist who used to get Louis Vuitton bags off these boats, and I was in there picking up a bag, and she said that one of her clients came in with a penis pump, one of her things, and she's his nutritionist. He pulled it out and showed it to her, and she's like, dude, I'm your nutritionist, I don't need to see this. And he goes, I'm a lawyer and I'm gonna sue the guy that did this to me. And I go, find out who this guy is, right? The doctor. Next day, find out it's the same doctor, right? So, but I thought it was pretty funny that, this is how I found out. And he was supposed to have surgery like the next week, after the next weekend. And I didn't tell him, and I was just like, oh my God. So I called his manager and I go, we have to cancel this. This guy's not touching him. This will be bad. So first of all, you have to get a great surgery.
Yeah.
You have to have the right person who does the robotic surgery, who only does robotics and is really good at it. So we ended up getting a new surgeon, and I went into him and I said, okay, I read this book that said that I would literally had to be in the operating room after it was over and start helping him get an erection again. And he looked at me and he goes, I don't want you touching him for a month, okay? I don't know what you're talking about. I said, oh, I thought I was going to have to show up in the hospital with my little nasty nurse outfit on and go, come on, honey, let's go. And I was like, oh, thank God we got a better doctor. I don't know what would have happened. So I guess it was like, I had to wait like a week or a month or a couple of weeks. I can't remember now because it's been a while. And we had a daily routine, like at noon. We had to work on it.
Work on it. He had to get a boner.
Yes.
Wow.
And he was very, very, well, and I have these psychics that I was working with at the time, and Drew's father had passed away already, and he was like making fun of his balls or something in one of my readings or something. and I was like, so Drew was very proud of the fact that he had nice balls afterwards. Yeah, he was so scared that it wasn't going to work again.
Yeah.
And so I just took it for the team, went in and just did it every day at the same time.
Every day you hold on. For how long?
It was a little weird at first because there was blood coming out and stuff, and it kind of grossed me out.
Wait, hold on. You gave him bloody beaches?
Well, I didn't know stuff doesn't come out after a while, but after the surgery, there's still stuff in there.
There's still stuff. You're
so
cleaning
it's
the pipes.
probably a really good idea for whoever that person is
Sure.
to maybe see if you can release your chamber a couple times so it doesn't end up. And it made me a little queasy, but I'm not a medical person, so but I worked it, and it took, I mean, it worked.
It worked. You beached him back to health.
Yeah, you have to really put some effort into it.
You are such a good wife.
I feel sorry for people that don't have a mate that go through this, though. Because, I mean, you'd have to watch a lot of porn, I guess, or something. But
every day at noon?
Yeah.
So did you guys have lunch before or after the beach? Did you watch Jeopardy?
Have a glass of wine first?
Yeah, like
12 o'clock in the afternoon. Come on, honey, let's go. No, I did it sober. I didn't mind it.
And so fine. But why noon?
He was so worried. Like we had to use a lot of vibrators and stuff while he was out, and he kind of got into that. That was fun, and I tried. He was worried about me not being happy.
Hold on. You put what did you do with the vibrator?
For me.
Okay, yeah, sure.
So when I was not getting sex for like a month or whatever it was. I can't remember if it was 2 weeks or if it was a month or.
Sure.
But it scared him, and the book was scary too. And then my nutritionist friend was like, telling me about this guy with the pump, and I thought, oy vey.
Yeah, you better get in there, girl.
Yeah, I had to save your dong.
Yeah. Hey, man, that's admirable. High five. Yeah. OMG. I am obsessed with this song by Heather Porcaro. It's called New Breakdown, and I've been listening to it with my Raycon earbuds that I go for a walk, I listen to Heather's music, and I rock out, and I just love them because they're a fraction of the price of these leading earbuds, but they're so good, especially the newest model, the Everyday E25 earbuds. There's 6 hours of playtime. It's really easy for your Bluetooth pairing. There's more bass. It's a more compact design, and it has a noise isolating fit. They're so discreet, and there's no embarrassing dangling wires, and they just look cool. Let me tell you, they make you look really cool. The company was founded by Ray J, and guess who else is obsessed with these Raycons? Snoop Dogg, you may have heard of him. Hello, and Mike Tyson. Fantastic. So here's what you're going to do. For a limited time, get 15% off your order at buyraycon.com/WMMA. That's buyraycon.com/WMMA for a special 15% discount on Raycon wireless earbuds. Make sure to check it out now while the deal's running. Buyraycon.com/WMMA. I'll tell you something because that's a fear. Like when Tom had his vasectomy, I was reading online about 0.00 whatever % of men have no erections, or what if this freak anomaly thing happens?
Oh, I know.
And
I know.
That's your marriage, bro.
And I swear to God, I wanted to send a gift basket to that doctor.
Yeah.
I met him in the elevator going up day of the surgery, and he was this sort of small Asian guy, uber nerdy.
Yeah,
really doctor.
The best.
He jumped into the elevator. The other guy kind of was embarrassed that I asked him about having to jack my husband off after the thing, right? This guy jumped in the elevator, and he was all perky, and he's like, I go, hi, I'm Mrs. Pinsky, and he goes, I'm very excited for today. Everything's going to go great, and I have a 0% failure rate, and I am so happy, and we'll talk to you later. And I never saw him again. I was like, it was like the Wizard of Oz. It was like this a little munchkin jumped in and brightened my day, and he was right. He had a really, really good outcome.
Well, and he did, and I think it must be too because of you lovingly bringing him back to life with your mouth kisses.
I mean,
I think
is that why Drew gave you that question?
I think so. I think he wanted me to
giving me kudos.
I think so.
That I appreciate that, honey.
Think so.
I do, especially because now I feel like I have to go home and make it up to you.
Oh, because you guys had a tiff before.
No, we're not having a tiff.
Yeah,
we're just under stress like the rest of this fucking country.
Yeah.
And anybody who's living in quarantine with your loved ones day in and day out.
Oh, it's a nightmare.
9 months now. What has it been? 8 months? We're all.
Oh, it's 2020 is the wasted year. I'm just gonna write this
I
year
know.
off.
I thought 2016 sucked. This one's even worse.
This just doesn't exist for me. Like I can't wait to delete this year from my memory file. Like I'm never gonna look back.
If we can all just learn how to give
care.
blowjobs, that would be the best thing for everyone.
You know what? I don't think you're wrong.
I know.
I do think you're right, because imagine all these angry jihadists, like these boys who can't get a girl, and then they're promised virgins, right? All these sexually frustrated young boys in that. I'm serious. Like,
I know.
Imagine if they could just
they can't look at women because they're all under burqas.
Yeah, there's something to this of being sexually free with your partner, and why not give it to them? Why not be open?
Yeah, definitely. And I just, I want all men to know that they're worthy, that it's not, women can be pretty mean. But on the other side, I always think about women that have to like remove their breast and what they have to go through afterwards. They don't even put in fake boobs and do all that stuff, because women don't care as much, but men and their dick is just the thing, and they've lived with it their whole life. I understand now because I'm on testosterone, and I understand how that works. It's a little more clearly. Well, and I appreciate it. I appreciate it. And
I
you
do too.
And I like the fact that you do.
Yeah, I think it's cool. I think it's nice.
Am I talking too much?
No, not at all.
Okay.
I think it's great that you guys have a healthy sexual relationship. I think it's important. I think people need to talk about the importance of sex. It's funny, I was just thinking about, I have a friend who we text each other our updates. Like, I just put out this weekend. I put out twice this weekend. I put out, because we know that. Like,
I feel better about myself.
Yeah. Like, I think this whole like happy wife, happy life bullshit too. It's also happy husband.
Yes.
You get the fucking chores done, and he doesn't grumble. I don't know what the saying is. Help me think of a saying.
Puppy look on his eyes, like, I had it in a while.
Yeah, like you just have to drain that poison out of them, and then they're like civilized beings.
It's crazy.
They're so much easier to deal with if you milk them.
He's fun to have sex with. He has a nice big one. So
okay, well, I'm gonna throw up. So I just don't think of Dr.
My Kath would say that all the time. That's true,
that he has. I don't know. You
didn't know?
I don't know.
It's funny because like I've met so many sex therapists over the years. Emily Morse and Simone Bien. And, Loveline, and, I've been friends with them. Like, we're friends, and I've listened to their shows and how they, Emily Morse is an amazing sex therapist. I mean, she has an amazing podcast, and, we're friends, and it doesn't bother me to talk about it.
Yeah, me neither.
But I mean, Loveline sort of turned that leaf for me. I didn't ever talk about sex before. I liked it, but I didn't talk about like my sex life, and I wasn't proud of it. You know what I mean? I was like afraid of it.
I agree. I think I was afraid of it until and this is so bizarre, but until I had children, and until my body became less private.
Yes.
How do I put this? Like, when you're going through IVF, or when you're pregnant, you literally have hands up your cooch.
Oh, I know. It was a science project.
Freaking week. Yeah, you're like, well, let's check that, and then some other guy comes in, my turn, and then the whole hospital gets a chance to finger you. Yes. And then after you give birth, and you're just open and on the table, and your boobs are different, and your vagina gets cut or whatever.
Right.
Now I'm just so appreciative that I even have anything left. I'm like, oh my God, I did this twice. My body was just exploited and expanded and cut, and I'm just so happy that it's together.
And me too.
And I also once you give birth in front of another person twice,
right,
and he's seen it explode, and he's seen everything, I'm like,
it's all yours now, honey.
Yeah, it's kind of like,
thanks for wanting me.
Yeah, like you bought it, dude. This is your package. You take this shipwreck.
Oh my God, I agree.
Yeah,
I had 17 people in the emergency in the room. At least I didn't have to do it vaginally.
Oh my God,
that would have been adding insult to injury.
But motherhood too. I think what it did for me was make me, I know people are always like, I don't give a fuck. I think that's too aggressive. I think what I would say is I'm not thinking about other people's judgment as much as I used to before I had kids. Because now I'm just I don't care. I just want my boys to be good and happy. I won't care about, my focus is, my priorities are home, children, husband, my own little world.
But I think you're also in a different era than in the 80s. We still had parents that were from the 50s and the 40s, and my mother sort of controlled my feelings about sex and what was good or bad, and it to have sex with a lot of partners was bad, so you didn't talk about it. You didn't, you might do it, but now like everybody's like, well, yeah, I fucked 100 guys before.
I know, because my mother used to tell me, she said, you do whatever you want, but don't tell anybody. Right? Like, there were always hoes.
There you go, Nadav.
There were always sluts, right? Sluts, whores, but women
Less
just
history, more mystery.
Shut it up.
Yes.
You shut up about it. And now there's a
My grandmother used to say that too.
Yeah, because it's truth. There was truth in it. And I believe there still is, quite honestly. I don't know everybody needs to know all your numbers and what you did. I don't think so.
But
it's tacky.
nowadays, like, women are more free about it. You see it on TikTok. It's like everywhere. And I don't think Drew really wants me to talk about his sex life, but I mean, it sort of has been mentioned throughout the years anyways,
Well, and I think we're in an era that doesn't have shame. And I mean that in a good way and a bad way. So it's a shameless era, which is kind of great, because you have people coming out being like, I'm trans. I'm into BDSM.
It's even more radical.
Yeah.
And we don't like, women look like an afterthought now.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you use your pussy as a weapon?
I know.
So what?
I know.
You should see what I do and look at me.
Yeah, it all
and I'm going to
feels
talk about it very openly, and even if you don't want to hear it. But
but
so
that's
women
a
are
good thing.
but women have that freedom now, and I think when in the 70s, when the whole sexual revolution started, and the 80s, I was kind of like, yeah, I'm into this shit. But we still were afraid, and we wanted feminism to come through and give women rights to be in charge of their bodies and have the right to have multiple partners and not have to get married. Like, my mother wanted me to get married so bad, like my cousins, but they were all pregnant before they were married. I was like, I'm going to wait till I find the right guy. And
That
I was in my 30s.
Revolutionary.
It was really something beyond her belief. And I was the black sheep of the family because I had sex with more than one guy.
Yeah.
And so I had to keep it a secret, everything. I mean, 3 Porsches showed up every week at my house. I mean, there was a good chance there was something was going on. My dad was smarter than she was, but it didn't fade. I liked having my sexuality, and I think when Drew was doing Loveline, I mean, I was on Loveline before he was, and I was on a part of that whole scene. While I was doing it, I really respected the fact that he could give such sound advice to people that needed help, and I always felt like the two of us were pioneers of openness about sexuality.
Most definitely. And I will say too, what I find really sad in American culture is that once you become a mother, it's like, now you're just a mom and your vagina shuts down and you're no longer a sexual being.
That's what it feels like.
Well, that's what it does feel that way, especially when they're super young. But if you look at Europe, which is where the model that I was raised on, the European woman, that no, this is when life begins. Like, you can be sexual at 50, 60, 70, 80 until you drop dead. You're a sexual being.
Well, now because of hormone replacement and stuff like that, like, for men are going to keep going till they're 90.
Yeah.
That's what Drew said.
Yeah.
They want to fuck everything.
Viagra.
So, yeah. I mean,
you take the pill.
And they had Viagra.
Yeah.
I mean, women now have that opportunity. So it's kind of funny. And you can also become a transsexual or a, what is it when you transition? Transsexual.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, if you're a woman and you want to become a man, you can do that too.
And I know someone who transitioned, in his mid 50s, and the thought was like, oh, that sucks for him. Like, I wish he could have been able to do it that earlier. Sooner. Yeah. But like,
some people just look like they should be men, and they do it, and it comes out really well.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then some men do the opposite, and it comes out really well too.
Wouldn't you love to have a peener for a day, just to see what it's like? Yeah.
I
would, just for one day, and then give it back, because I don't want a penis forever.
You can strap one on.
It's not the same. I don't think it's the same, right?
Have you seen those ones? They're like really big and they like come everywhere.
No.
Yeah.
I don't. That does not appeal to me.
But
I want the sensation. Like, I want to know what it feels like for them. To get a boner, because I do know they're so obsessed with their junk, but I think it's because it's out there and it's always moving. No,
it feels. Now that I'm on testosterone, all of a sudden it'll it'll wake you up. It's like, hello,
Sexuality.
it's time.
Your boner.
Yeah,
Your lady boner.
Yeah,
is
you
like,
get
dude.
that too. If you have too much testosterone, sometimes, like when you first get it and stuff, it's like, I gotta have sex now.
You just
It's
get
time.
overcome with.
Yeah, the testosterone does something with your brain, and it just causes you to want to jerk off on something. And
That is so amazing.
it's amazing,
it's
and it
like-
feels good too. The thing is if you know it's gonna feel good, why wouldn't you want to do it?
Yeah, I know. Of course, 100%. And do
I
it,
mean,
and
it
do
does feel good.
And do it with your husband. Don't fuck around.
And when you have kids and stuff, it's like, oh, God.
Yeah,
and then when
yeah.
you do it, you're like, why didn't we do that more often?
I know.
Like
Because you don't want to. Like when I have a 2 and a 4-year-old, and I don't like. I put them down. They're finally in bed,
tired.
and it's like the last thing on the agenda. But so you just fucking do it. Just have a glass of wine and power through it, and you're so glad you did. I don't think I've ever had sex with my
You
husband.
just do the sloppy sex thing.
Just
where
do
you just lay
do
there.
something. Yeah, just whatever.
Just put it in.
Yeah, like I've never thought
Zombie sex.
Yeah, I've never been like, oh, I'm never not regretting having that. Do you know what I mean? Like you
Yeah.
never go, oh, we shouldn't have had sex because now our marriage is better and my husband's happier and everything's great for the next 72 hours. God.
No, I was kind of a nice queen for a while, but
yeah, but
I
dude,
feel bad now. So I have
triplets,
to make up for
triplets.
it. I know. I don't want to fight with him because I feel bad. He's a good guy.
He's a
He
great
doesn't
guy.
deserve for me to just turn into a raging lunatic during a quarantine smoke
You're so
storm.
sweet. I like how you've come full circle. Like when you came in here, you were totally agitated. This is marriage, though. And then you talk to someone else, you get it out, and then you're like, oh,
I know. I
feel
really
bad,
needed somebody
love
to talk to.
you.
I did, and I didn't want to dump it on his manager or dump it on. There's like people. It's none of their business. I don't want to talk about it.
No, I know. But I'm not going to tell
But
anybody except
I've
all
done
the
this
people
for.
listening.
I've been with him for so long that it's just like I realized how much I did to keep this relationship together and how much patience I had and that I mean even if I wasn't really
That's a good point.
sexual when they were young,
Yeah,
I
but
was
you
holding up the
triplets.
fort. He was traveling all over the country.
No. You guys
and-
were making your empire. That's a different thing, man. That's okay. You're not expected to be a goddess then. But now things are different.
But the patience that you need
That's
to have as a
huge.
mother or even a significant other without kids,
Huge.
you have to just, I guess, I'm just kind of, I wasn't a martyr, but I was just like very protective of everything that he wanted,
Yeah.
kind of gave it to him.
You know what's interesting you say about patience?
But he did it
because-
for me too. so.
Yeah, they do it to you. That's the thing is, I joke on this show, but it is reciprocal, and that's the only reason you stay in the marriage.
It isn't always,
obviously.
but sometimes
Oh,
the women
sorry, I
just
didn't
get
mind.
so mean and they don't want to, they don't support. It's like the new feminist beliefs are more like, my nose is a little already, but
It's okay.
um,
We did a lot of cocaine.
is
before.
is it dripping? Can you
We
see?
got so ripped. I'm sorry. What do you mean? You think
I
think
think
the current feminism is too mean?
Yeah.
What do you think? Let's
they
talk
want
about
the
it.
50-50, and
You know what's interesting? So, Gay Dad on last episode said it's possible to do the 50-50. And I
is.
said to him, my retort was, I believe that with 2 men because they both earn the same income and you
Right.
guys can choose who stays home.
Right.
You can choose who's going to pull back on their career and stay home with the
Right.
child. Men and women were still not equal pay.
No.
So it's really...
I could never meet that requirement. Like I was
No.
a travel agent and we were sitting with the bookkeeper at the end of the year and he goes, I was like, when the kids were little, I was trying to do something and I said I made $10,000 this year. And I was so proud of myself because
yeah.
I worked on that all by myself and it wasn't easy because in those days you didn't make that much.
Yeah.
And he goes, it's just a hobby. The bookkeeper.
Fuck him.
And I was like, I was crushed. I was like, wow, you really put me in my place. Like, thanks. Like, I am also raising 3 kids alone half the time. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. He made $1 million and I only made 10 grand.
well,
excuse
that's
me.
stupid. But first of all...
But I can see how women could get even mad if they're not making the same amount of money and they have to do all,
Well, it's trickier. So the dynamic is it's very tricky, especially when both of you. So now we're in this in between phase, I would say. So women are still making less on the dollar than
But they like to
men,
work.
But they like to work. So now we're in the workplace, but the roles are still not necessarily totally equal at home in some people's situations.
Some women make more and they
And
work
some
and they
women
still
make-
have to do all
and
the
they
work
still,
at home.
And they do what's called the mental load. So that's making the appointments for the children. When's the next doctor's appointment?
Right.
So-and-so has this lesson on this day. And
Exactly.
Mom still carries all that. But my gay dad was saying, Riaz, brilliant, beautiful, wonderful Riaz, he's like, well, just fucking ask them. Basically make the man have more responsibility.
Yes. But
and
you have to kind of train them, definitely.
Yeah, you have to train them.
Well, but see, I'm not those people, so I can't speak for them. But I know that, it's hard on all levels for the mother because she's the mother.
Right. There's the expectation that we are in charge of everything.
Even though you work 9 to 5 and you're bringing in all the money. Or the opposite. It's never easy. It's great if you have a partner that works with you and you can get along and you can make it work.
It's never equal though. But here's the deal. Let's say I take more of the load for the kids.
Or a nice family system.
That accommodates. Tom takes more of the mental load for like the income and for accounting or whatever, the business end of it, because I'm occupied with the kids. So you kind of pair off. You kind of say, all right, you take this and I'll take that, and then we'll meet. But it's interesting. Like Ali Wong, to bring her up again because I just adore her.
I love her.
She's the best. But she makes a ton of money, so she's kind of leading the charge on this thing of like the woman earning
some
more.
Good jokes.
Yeah, and the husband. But her husband's brilliant too. It's like, well, you just kind of go with what makes logical sense. If someone's the bigger breadwinner, then that in Allie's case, it's Allie.
Right.
And
how's she doing?
She's great. She's the best. She's she's quarantining with her family and like everyone else, raising her kids and focusing on those. As you know, I am a huge proponent of therapy. I myself have talked to a therapist now for a decade. And I know right now with this new normal, things change every day. A lot of people have anxiety and depression, and maybe you're not regularly seeing a therapist. That's why I like TalkSpace. TalkSpace online therapy lets you connect with a licensed therapist for a fraction of the price of in-person therapy. Match with your perfect therapist from the comfort of your device and reach out 24/7. Now, I've had a lot of people say, oh, I live somewhere remote. I can't get to a therapist. Now you have no excuse. You can get 24/7 access to the support you need with TalkSpace. You can message your therapist anytime and get daily responses 5 days a week. Wow, a whole month of dedicated support costs as much as just one in-person session. So with TalkSpace, you guys, it's affordable. You have access to the TalkSpace network. They're composed of thousands of licensed therapists experienced in treating depression, anxiety, substance abuse, trauma, relationship issues, food and eating, and more. We all need someone to talk to. TalkSpace wants to give us the support we deserve at a price we can afford. Match with your perfect therapist at Talkspace.com or by downloading the TalkSpace app. And don't forget to use promo code WMMA at checkout for $100 off your first month. That's $100 off your first month at Talkspace.com, promo code WMMA. During this pandemic, who hasn't watched their kids melt down and have just massive tantrums? It is a nightmare. And how do you handle this stuff as a parent? Well, I have found it's called Purble. It's an interactive toy, and it helps calm kids down. Purble is an interactive plush companion who helps kids calm themselves in the moment and builds resilience. Purble is perfect for self-soothing at home during quarantine, in virtual classrooms, and on the go whenever big emotions bubble up. So this is how it works. It's really neat. When Purble gets startled, Purble's heart beats quickly, and it invites the child to calm them down. So as your kid is petting and soothing the little toy, the companion, Purble's vibrational heartbeat slows into a gentle purr. So when kids calm Purble, they learn how to calm themselves. How cool is that? It gives the parents a break, and it teaches children how to calm themselves. Here's what you're going to do. Go to purble.com/WMMA to order your Purble today. How do you spell Purble? That's PURRBLE.com/WMMA. Use code WMMA for 10% off at checkout. Purble. Calm kids, better days. Hey, to your raising triplets, that is nothing to sneeze at.
I know.
And
that 10
is
grand was a lot of work.
a lot of work. But I'm saying that
And I do the accounting, and I do I was helping manage his career.
But I think
so.
there's also sadness in poo-pooing the role of the stay-at-home mom, because there is
Yes.
nothing more important than raising
right.
children. It's everything. If you
I
screw
stayed at home.
that,
That was it. I was a stay-at-home mom. And
but there's a
it's
lot
underrated.
of pride in that. It is underrated, and I do feel like for women that choose to
I had
do
help.
that,
I mean, I was lucky, but it's
still hard, even if you have help. It
well,
doesn't
yeah,
matter.
it's the mental part, like just being able to walk away from it for 10 minutes and let the other partner take over, like just so you can have a little bit of me time where
Yeah.
you're not thinking about everything. I found that playing craps was a really good way for me to relax.
Playing craps.
Yeah, we would go to Vegas and I would just play craps because I wouldn't think about my kids. I don't know why. It just somehow
Yeah.
blocked it. But that didn't happen very often.
Yeah.
You know, once in a while we would go away and do something together and stuff. But I think that there's so many situations, and 50-50 would be a perfect situation.
Perfect world.
Yeah, two gay men, definitely.
I know. We just have to become gay guys. and
Yeah, I
get
know, but
married.
neither one of them, it didn't come out of one of their bodies, you know?
That's what I thought too with him. I was like, yeah, but I think the difference with the mom wanting to take more because ultimately it starts with you, right? You're the
Right.
one that sacrifices your body. You're the one that sacrifices your time. You're the one that, like, you're not getting out of bed for a while. Like, you're fucked. And they get to live their life as normal.
Exactly.
So it starts
But you're also mom.
this way.
Like the kids can split their emotions evenly between two men. Mom is still mom.
because they came from you. There's
Just
something
something about
primal.
it. Yeah. They just, they want moms. They always
Yeah.
want mommy first.
Yeah. I think it's like everything down to our smell, to your being, your body.
Right.
If you breastfed, like they were on your breast.
They
like,
trust you.
Yeah.
100%. They loved Drew because he was fun.
Yeah.
He was the fun guy, you know.
Yeah.
We would take pictures. We'd get like family pictures taken, and then it would always end up being him and the kids because they were happy because I was like this. I looked like I wanted to
Tired
kill. I
mom.
wanted to kill somebody. Why are we taking these
No.
pictures right now? Like, but it
Oh,
was.
look how cute you guys
Well, that
are.
was that was. A
I
big
love
smile.
the pants. Don't you love the pants?
The mom jeans?
The late. Is this the early 90s, late 80s?
That was 1992.
Yep,
90
yep,
They were
yep.
about 6 months old.
So
there,
cute.
maybe,
Look how
8
great
months.
you look.
Oh God.
And I love these pants back then because they were so
Yeah,
forgiving.
Bermuda shorts.
Yeah, they're great.
Oh, I know.
Aw.
But that place was a
Where was
horrific
this?
hotel.
Hawaii?
Yeah, I can't remember what Embassy Suites. Remember those?
Yep, I've stayed in a few.
In Maui, and there was a sewer plant across the street, and then it got flooded, and I was just worried that we were going to be walking in sewer water.
Oh God, nightmare! Well, you guys are brave to go on vacation with 6 months.
We had a nanny, too.
Smart.
Yeah, we had to have 3 sets of arms on the
Of
plane.
course.
I know, that's a
Crazy.
funny picture.
It's cute. Brings back those memories. You want to have more kids or what? You gonna do
Never.
trip?
I have dreams about it. I have
nightmares or
nightmares.
dreams? You're pregnant.
I'm pregnant, and I like, what am I gonna do? What am I gonna do? I guess it is what it is. And then it's like, how could this happen at my age? Like, I don't understand. And then I was like, I wake up and I'm like, phew, thank God. But I'm serious. I have those dreams because I've been watching the Derricos.
Oh,
Have you seen that? The people with like 16 kids?
No, fuck off.
Oh yeah.
I hate these people that have too many kids.
They have a
What is
show
wrong
on
with you?
TLC too, and it gives me nightmares.
Why do they have so many kids? Was it a
Look at
a fertility blip?
They just keep having
Are they
them and having
religious?
them and having them. They say some of them are natural, or I don't know, but it's like after they had 13, did they have to have 3 more? Like, or
Ay
11, they had to
vey.
have 3 more. And the last one that they just recently had,
cute, though, at least.
Awesome Dawson.
Mm-hmm.
Dawson had a heart problem, and I think it's mentally not going to work out. And all these other kids are they're so adorable, the way they're raising them, and they're making them all, but this is going to be a long series. This
That's
is going to be
terrible.
No, I know, but I have dreams. I have nightmares every time I watch the show. I have nightmares that I'm
You're
pregnant. And then Drew
Drew's like,
goes, "Do you want to watch the Derrickas tonight?" I go, "No, I can't." I can't do it.
Okay, and I think this is a great time to take a break from my interview with Susan to do a brand new segment I'm super excited about. It is sponsored by Michelin, and it is all about driving with kids. Sponsored by Michelin. Learn about the Michelin CrossClimate 2 tires right now at michelinman.com. So, moms, we all know driving with kids is nothing but an adventure. I want your stories. Submit them to me. The horror stories, the good, bad, and the ugly. Send your stories to WhereMyMomsAt at gmail.com. Leave me a voicemail, 213-375-5184. Let's hear. We have some great stories. Let's hear the first one. Go ahead, Native.
Hi, Mommy Tina. I'm calling to share a story about being in the car with my kids. So when my daughter was about 2 years old, she started to not enjoy car rides, but we had to take a car trip up from Southern California to Northern California to visit my father-in-law. So on the way, she cried the whole time unless we played one of these two songs, either Call Me Maybe by Carly Rae Jepsen or Elmo Song, a popular song on Sesame Street.
No.
Both songs are highly annoying. I don't know if you've ever heard either one of them. But the only way, literally the only way she would calm down and not cry is if we had one of those two songs playing. So for hours straight, that's what we had to listen to. It was awful. If you don't know what I'm talking about, just play one of those two songs for about 10 seconds, and you'll see what I mean. But to this day, I can't hear either one of those songs, or even really think of either of those songs without feeling really, really sick inside. Anyhow,
Sick
thanks so much.
inside.
Keep them high and tight,
Oh.
and thanks for being the best mommy. All right, take care. Bye-bye.
Well, thank you for that. I think that's how they torture POWs, is playing music over and over. I heard a story about them military playing Britney Spears music to the enemy, and that'll wear down anybody. It's the worst. I think my kids right now, my older boy is into Pinocchio. So, we play I Got No Strings to Hold Me Down 24/7 in my car. Okay, let's do a couple of emails. This one is from Lauren. She writes, I've got to tell you about our epic fail of a family camping trip this summer. After feeling cooped up from a long quarantine with 4 kids, my husband and I decided to take everyone for a long weekend camping. We figured that we could be socially distant and enjoy a change in scenery. We piled into our minivan, car packed floor to ceiling, front to back, with a hard shell X-Cargo on the roof. There was our fair share of typical parenting stress, including, are we there yet? And I have to poop, always. For some reason, the minute children get inside of the car is when they have to go to the bathroom. It's fantastic. At long last, we arrived at the campsite just before it got dark to settle in for a nice break from the routine. I started to unpack while my husband started building the tent when, as you could have predicted, the skies opened up and a rainstorm completely soaked everything. With our sanity barely intact, we all sat in the car waiting for the rainstorm to pass. I made the executive decision to forego a night in the woods and headed to the nearest respectable hotel for a hot shower and dry bed. Things were really looking up until we pulled into the parking garage, forgetting that we had the shell on the roof, which promptly came sliding down the front windshield of the minivan, spilling all of our clothing onto the parking garage floor. Regards, Lauren. Wow, that's a bad one. The other day, I was driving the kiddos. My older boy takes tennis lessons, and I put my racket on top of the roof of the car, and then I strap the boy in, and of course I get to the tennis courts, and I get out, and the racket's still on the car. Thank God, though, which goes to show I'm an excellent driver. I got my Michelin CrossClimate 2s on. That's why. All right, let's do one more email. This one's great. Hi, Christina. My name is Maureen, and I need to tell you about an incident I had in the car with my 2 children last week. We had been out for a few hours, running a few errands. So as we were getting close to home, I decided to grab smoothies for the kids from Starbucks as a treat and a coffee to keep me going. After I went through the drive-thru, I came around the back side of the strip mall to avoid a traffic light when a raccoon popped out from behind a dumpster, scaring the crap out of me. I slammed on the brakes, avoided running it over, good thing, as it had some little raccoons in tow, and came to a screeching halt. In the process, my 3-year-old lost the first bit of his smoothie to the back of my headrest. Amused by my frustration and despair with pineapple coconut green smoothie exiting his cup for the next 10 minutes, anytime we came to a stop sign or red light, he proceeded to fling the smoothie out of his cup and all over the back of the car. Great. By the time I pulled into the driveway, there was more smoothie on my 1-year-old sitting beside him than there was in the 16-ounce cup. Some days you just can't win. Thanks for the podcast. Keep them high and tight, Mo. Well, that's a good one, man. That is so accurate, right? The only thing more fun than getting something for your kid to drink is for them to spill it all over the back of your car. We're getting what are those called? Chocolate milks now for the kids, and they love spilling them because Juju did it as an accident, and now they do it for real. So that's good. Well, that was fun. You guys submit your horror stories of driving with kids. This is sponsored by Michelin CrossClimate 2 tires. Send them to WhereMyMomsAt at gmail.com. Leave a voicemail, 213-375-5184. Okay, let's get back to Susan Pinsky. Let's do some follow-ups from the last couple episodes. Have you ever tried a menstrual cup?
No.
Disgusting. Same. Forget it.
Somebody sent me an email the other day and asked if, I think it was for you guys, but I end up with most of your emails. Like, I masturbated too much. What do I do, Dr. Drew? But this one was like, I dropped my menstrual cup into the toilet. What do I do? Do I bleach it? Do I clean it? I go, you want to do this on the show? And he goes, well, you could probably, it's your toilet, right? I'm like, oh, Drew.
Soap and water, right?
I know. I got a question like that the other day. Well, anyways, he said, use soap and water.
Yeah, gross. Okay. I don't want to even read this one. I'm going to throw up.
Okay.
Gender reveal parties. Did you do that back in your day?
No.
That was not a thing when I was
and setting California on fire was a really bad idea. And that had to be a man who did that.
Wait, what? Wait?
The fire that started in the Bobcat fire was a gender reveal party by somebody who used pyrotechnics and it had to be a guy, right? And it was probably a boy, right?
All right, I didn't
like
know.
a woman wouldn't think of that and then set the world.
No woman is like pyrotechnics.
Yeah,
and gender reveal.
Let's set the hillside on fire. They're going to be up for murder if somebody dies.
So,
don't do the gender reveal parties.
Personally, look, I understand why people are excited. Because you have this baby and you're just so excited to have somebody inside of you, and every morsel of information you get about your baby inside of you is really exciting.
Yeah.
So I understand the inclination, but they do get a little ridiculous.
No, I mean, listen, it's if it's your first baby, especially, people get so excited. And baby showers, like I had 2 baby showers, and I had to have them early, like at 21 weeks, and it was so hot that day, and there were like, I don't know, there were 50 people there, and I had to open up 3 times 50 gifts no air conditioning. And I was pregnant, and I was like, so I have like aversion therapy towards any kind of pregnancy, any kind of parties about pregnancy.
I didn't have one. Not one. I didn't do on any of them. No,
they had to measure
party.
Me, and everybody had to guess with the toilet paper.
Oh, fuck all that. I didn't do any of that. I just had a dinner with our friends.
I was like, you guys, I'm huge. Okay, I have 3 kids in me. I might be 28 weeks pregnant, but
I'm enormous. So 27-year-old millennial here to say that I think gender reveal parties are 100% asinine. So I put a call out to you guys. Let me know, you younger listeners. Well, if I'm out of line to think that these gender reveals are, kind of silly and wacky, and are we doing them? It's one thing to just make posts about on social media.
Well, when you make the significant others show up, like it's a bunch of men and women, like at a party, they're like, we have to go to a what party? Like a gender reveal party, and there's a cake, and
it's silly. But then this person
and nobody can drink because she's pregnant.
This person wrote in saying that gender reveal parties are harmful to people that are transgender later in life, and that it's like you're
Because what if you're not that?
right, and then you're kind of like forcing that kid to be in one thing already, or maybe you're gonna.
Oh, here's the pictures of you when you were a girl.
I don't know. So
Now
okay.
you're a boy.
What
you
a-
know, that makes sense. That would be
Yeah.
I am too old for that. We didn't do that in my day.
No, it's
Like,
a little too complicated.
and I would, it's cute, it's fun if your friend wants to have a party for you, but
So this person writes, wow, what an article. This got me thinking, does this mean we have to start naming our children with gender neutral names as to not assume their gender from birth? Should we just say fuck it and say every name is already gender neutral? Oh, that's interesting. Piss on me, beat me, Stephanie T. She makes a really good point. So, but the point being, like, okay, if you're kind of forcing these gender norms on kids
Right.
by giving them gender reveal and naming them Sally or Timmy, should we just make all names neutral so that they can choose their name later? Like, is that harming
if you
people?
feel like you might have a genetic ability to have a child who's got gender, might
Yeah.
be gender, tend to be that. I think that, my kids were all basically what they were.
Yeah.
We didn't give them toys until they were about a year old or whatever.
Yeah.
And we just let them loose in a toy store, and they went right to the
To what
things
the
that,
designated
and
shit was,
sometimes
yeah.
the girl will go to the trucks. Good chance they could be gay or
Yeah.
whatever, and the boys will go to the ping pong, and you just let it happen. But maybe, I mean, that's an idea. Like Paulina I could have called her
Polly,
yeah,
Polly,
and Jordan has a gender
Jordan's neutral.
Yeah, Douglas, we would have had to work on that. He could have been Drew Douglas.
Yeah.
Because then Drew's
Drew.
kind of a boy and a girl
Drew's
name.
androgynous,
Instead he's
yeah.
Douglas Drew. They have gender names. They have names. Well, Paulina's a female name, but you could have just called her Paul. A lot of her friends call her
I
Paul.
don't know. It's all interesting. I'm curious to
Or
see
change your name, whatever.
how this generation navigates the gender stuff and what it's going to look like.
I don't want
by the
them to
time
start
my
too
friend-
young. I want them to wait until they're in their teens,
that's
like
the
18,
general-
and they need
yeah.
to not. The parents need to not sign off on it until they know that they're adults. It's sort of like when Paulina wanted to get a tattoo when she was like 18 or whatever. I said, wait till you're 25 to 30, because then you'll know what you want. You might get something on you now you're going to
Oh, yeah.
regret later.
Of course.
And don't make all your decisions, now. Some people you really know, and they may need help to get out of their body at a certain age, but you would really know.
Yeah, I think some people really know, but I think that's the logical consensus is like just pump the brakes on anything chemical that we're going to do to you
Right.
or operate on you until you're an adult.
We had a
'cause-
psychobiologist
You don't
on
know, bro.
our neurobiologist, neuropsychologist, sorry, on our show, who wrote a book about it. Dr.
Yes, I heard her.
So-
Yes, she's great.
She really took it apart. She's not a doctor now. She's a journalist, so she can say what she wants, but she keeps getting canceled and in trouble.
She gets
But
canceled, yeah.
But she was really, it was interesting because she talked about all these things and how it's better to wait and to, it's the kids will go where they're supposed to go, but just wait till they're older and till they're, more settled. Everybody wants, and then also something about young girls seeing porn and how that affects them, and they don't want to be treated like that. So then they decide they want to be lesbians because they don't want men to have anal sex like that with them and whatever.
Well, she talked about some people who
trauma.
have sexual trauma might lean lesbian. Well, girls particularly
Yes.
might become lesbian for a time until that trauma is dealt with. And that's not to say that every lesbian. I'm just saying this is what the scientific study
Right.
said.
No, that's what
her
they said.
evidence showed.
It's not one size fits all. So,
Yeah.
but I also worry about like the younger girls that, like a boy and a girl get together on a play date. Like my son Jordan had a friend he wanted to play date with a girl when he was in preschool, and the father was kind of concerned about it, right?
Preschool.
Yes.
Okay.
And then my daughter did too, but we knew that little boy was gay. I don't know if she's gay, but if you have, it's okay. It's not okay to let little boys and girls hang out together, but two little girls together are okay. But if one of them's been traumatized and you don't know what's going on, you should watch everybody,
Yeah.
make sure your daughters and their best friends aren't getting into sexual stuff too soon. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like
yeah. It can happen with any gender, is what you're saying.
yeah, you have to keep
All
an
that
eye on
stuff.
them until they're 18 or whatever. Trust me, it's a lot of work, but it doesn't. It's like the norms are out there. There's girls are seeing that it's okay to be attracted to your girlfriend. You
Yeah.
know, and in our day that was like not okay. You know.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's just such I don't envy what you have to go through, because you have to just be on top of it and accept your child however they are, but just don't go out and get them a new pair of breasts when they're 14.
I know, it's super weird.
You know, just
man.
because they think they're going to be a woman.
You don't know shit until you're an adult, homie.
No, you have to wait.
Don't know.
You have to wait. And we had an ice skating team, national ranked, theater on ice team, and one of the girls was clearly, gay or whatever, but she looked like a boy. Like you could just tell she was stocky when she changed, and she looks great now. I mean, totally fitting into as a male. You know what I mean? I saw it happen, and but then we were like, well, should she be lifting all these little girls on the ice? Is that going to be weird? Like you've got like now she's a dude,
boy.
yeah, and we have to like make sure that she knows that she's. You know what I mean? It was just like a question.
Well, there's all kinds of questions. So when someone transitions, let's say male to female, should she be allowed to play against other women, like in UFC or something?
Exactly.
There's always these debates of like, because that girl could potentially literally kill the other players. So there's all these, morality and ethical whatever questions that are going to kind of filter out over the next few years. We'll see. You can't stop humans from evolving and changing,
girls
and this is just part of it.
They're like, now with the whole TikTok thing, everybody's like all sexy and they're doing their thing.
Not on my feed.
That whole
cuties. Watch my.
Oh,
I know. I haven't seen Cuties yet.
Yeah, well, I'm not
going
to watch it, but it made me remember when Paulina was in figure skating, and we'd be at the Christmas Bonanza special, and somebody'd come out and do Santa Baby.
I hate Santa Baby.
In a sexy outfit.
I hate Santa
They
Baby.
were like 11 or something, and everybody was like, maybe she shouldn't do that song. It's too soon, it's a little too sexy, a little too provocative. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's gross.
Like as parents, we have to go, oh, it's not going to fly. Like my daughter would pick a song, and then I go, no, that's too adult. You're 9. You can't do that one. You can't. Well, it's about blowjobs. Okay.
Yeah. Well, I see the girls.
I know you like the song, honey, but you can't skate
you
to
can't
it.
do WAP. Yeah. I think because I see these girls in our neighborhood, these teenage girls, and they're wearing like the crop tops and the Lululemon pants, and these are babies. I'm saying like 12, 13-year-olds, and the dude driving by maybe doesn't know that she's that young. I know she's that young because I was once that young. And you're like, where the fuck are these parents? I'm like, I want to throw a sweatshirt on them. Or they walk around in these tiny little shorts with their cooches hanging out.
Oh, that's the new thing now.
Yeah, the tiny shorts. And I'm like,
I'm glad they weren't around when Paulina was little.
I could see your cooch.
I know. There were girls that were like more like that in the ice rink, and they ended up working in that industry a little bit more later. Like it ended up, it moved to the next level, but they're happy. Their parents were okay with it, and but I wasn't okay with that with Paulina.
Fuck that.
I do know
No
that
way,
it's like a cult though. You're like in a cult. You're kind of following around and doing what
being a
everybody's
teenage girl.
No, being in these groups, these dance groups. And
Right. I gotta watch that documentary because someone asked me about it, what my opinion was.
It's
I'm
just
like, well, I haven't seen
you're
it
in a
yet.
cult because you get sucked in, and the parents are so competitive, and they all hated me because I was
Because you were watching it.
Yes.
Well, thank you so much for joining. I have to wrap. I have to go home and have dinner with my kids and
Make dinner?
No, have dinner.
Who's making dinner?
Maybe Tom. I don't know. We'll see.
Really? Well, he's picking something up today.
Just joking. I think my nanny probably made some chicken. He hasn't cooked in years. We talk about hilarious. But so what did we learn?
Drew can cook steak.
That's good.
We have steak every day.
That's amazing. That's what heterosexual men, that's all they want. Steak, bacon,
well, he's
sandwich.
on that carnivore freaking diet.
I know.
Now my son's on it too, and
Well, he looks great. You look great.
I think I'm going to go out by myself to a bar and
That's what's up, homie. Go get ripped. Take your uvas though. We learned foot rubs on this very important episode.
Yes, thank you. I'm gonna let you go.
We learned.
I
gotta go. We learned that you must aggressively milk your husband after the prostate surgery.
Yeah.
And that you might get a mouthful
Well, you
of
have
blood.
to be supportive.
You have to be supportive. You have to keep your body in shape,
Yes.
and you have
I don't know
to
if I've
piss
done that
off
with-
every now and then. You
Well,
have to be alone every now and then.
yeah, alone. I need some
Yeah.
space.
Yeah.
But I don't know if I'm going to get it anytime soon. So I'll call you when I start
Call
freaking
me
out.
when. Yes, exactly. Thank you so much for joining. Is there anything you want to plug?
Well, I produce several shows. The Ask Dr. Drew, which is a call-in show where we have semi-celebrities. We're working on some A-listers, if you know any.
Shit. Okay.
Also, yes, we do want you back. And then also, we are also doing Dose of Dr. Drew, which is my production. We're speaking with more doctors and
Great.
and professionals and whoever wants to come on. And then that's like 3 or 4 days a week. These are all live stream shows that we do, and they're also, the links are available on drdrew.com. And then there's my show, Calling Out with Susan Pinsky, which I'm bringing up around October because it is Halloween time.
My favorite time of
So
year.
we're gonna do some call-ins. So if anyone wants to call in and get a psychic reading, they can do that. Just
Awesome.
you can find that information. I'm probably gonna do it on the next one's on Wednesday. I don't know when this is gonna
And
go
where
up,
can
but-
people see that show?
Well, you can probably find the link go to my Twitter and my Instagram because I usually post it there, but that's at First Lady of Love.
Okay.
And I don't know. I don't know if I promote it anywhere really. I just
You need a
do it.
website, Squarespace.
Yeah.
Use my promo code WMMA and get 20% off from the purchase
I
of the
have a
domain.
website, but I haven't updated in a while because we
Oh.
do these live stream shows now.
Sure.
And they're on youtube.com/Dr. Drew. So that's sort of our thing now.
So check all that out. Give your husband a beach. And until next time, stay cool, moms. And thank you for being here. I adore you. I just love you so much.
Thank you. I love you
Susan.
too.
You're the best.
Thanks for having me.
Where my mom's at. Where my mom's wearing thongs, hitting bongs at. Raising kids, cleaning shits, need a long nap. Where my mom's at.
Where my mom's at.